What's up, it's Cinema Shogun here, and I feel like complete garbage today, but I wanted to make some content for you all, so bear with me. Plus, we gotta talk about all of these UFOs. What in the heck is going on? There's so much happening that it's hard to keep up with, but I have been keeping up with it all. I just don't know where to start. There's so much information to unpack, but I guess let me start by saying this. I see a lot of people reporting, and I see a lot of people assuming that the recent UFOs that were shot down, people are assuming that they are balloons, Chinese spy balloons. Now listen, they may be from China, but the objects that were shot down over Alaska and Canada are not balloons. They are not balloons at all. In fact, the U.S. Air Force says that they could not find any propulsion devices on these objects, so they did not know how they were flying in the sky. They have no idea how these objects were able to float and fly around in the sky. Also, some pilots from the F-22 fighter jets that shot down one of these objects, they're claiming that the objects messed with their sensors. So we're not dealing with a balloon here, people. We're dealing with something far different and scarier if you ask me, because from what the U.S. government says, now I don't necessarily believe them, but they don't know what this technology is. How are these objects flying around in the sky without any propulsion, without being attached to any balloon or anything like that? So what in the heck are these objects? I mean, technically they're UFOs, but are they alien UFOs from a different planet? I don't necessarily think that. I do think it's a possibility. I believe in aliens. I think that maybe another country has some technology that we didn't know existed. Maybe they've made advances in technology that we haven't. I mean, America is too focused on stupid things. Think about all the stupid stuff we're arguing about in America right now. Do you think China is over there arguing about these nonsensical things? No. They're making advancements in technology. They're getting ready to dominate the world while we're over here confused about who we are and all this other nonsense. So, could this be some advancement in technology from a foreign country that we're unaware of? Yes. Could it be just America? Yes. I'm well aware of the false flags, and every time any news story comes out, you always got the people, this is a distraction from this. This is a distraction from that. I kid you not. When I talk about random true crime cases that are like local cases that the outside world has no idea about, people tell me, oh, this is a distraction from what's happening at the White House and stuff. I mean, I understand distractions, but not every single news story has to be a distraction. Now, this one might be. This one meets the qualifications. I'm just saying that any little minuscule news story I cover, I always have a dozen comments or more. This is a distraction from it. Listen, if everything is a distraction, then what are we being distracted from? Eventually, something's going to happen. How can I explain this? If everything is a distraction, then what are we being distracted from? Because whenever we see what we're being distracted from, people will then call that a distraction itself as well. So you're in this nonstop loop of this is a distraction, this is a distraction. And then when the real time comes, everyone's going to be like, oh, that's a distraction. No. Plus, adults, I know a lot of people aren't. Adults should be capable of following multiple news stories in multiple situations at a time. I mean, this is kind of my job to focus on the news. And I can tell you right now that I can focus on multiple stories at a time. I understand that the average American or the average person who's, working a 9-to-5 physical labor, you don't have time to worry about all of these things. That's why you got people like me to put all of this stuff together for you all. Now, is this some type of distraction from something else? It's a possibility. But what would it be a distraction from? I mean, there are a lot of things going on in today's world. Some people think it's a distraction from the big chemical spill that happened at that train wreck in Ohio. Some people think it's a distraction from what's going on with Project Veritas and Visor. But I mean, half the people in this country aren't going to follow up with that news story anyway. So I don't think they really need to distract us from that, because half the people in this country won't believe what's right there in their face. Now, obviously, it's weird that we shoot down this Chinese spy balloon and then all of a sudden there's these other UFOs. That would lead you to believe that these UFOs are coming from China, correct? Well, it just so happens that earlier this morning, China announced that they are also tracking a UFO over their country, and they're getting prepared to shoot it down. By the time you watch this video, maybe they already would have. But now we're seeing, oh, this isn't just something that's happening in America, or at the very least, this isn't just something that's being reported over here in America. Now China's like, oh, we got UFOs too. What the heck is going on here? So what I want people to understand is that regardless of what you chalk this up to, there's still going to be an outcome. This is leading us somewhere. And wherever it's leading us, it's not going to be good. You know, some people will say, this is China. They're testing our military. They're testing our airspace. Why would you think they would be doing that? I mean, maybe they're getting ready to attack us. Maybe they're getting ready for a big conflict. So some people think, oh yeah, it's just China. Some people think, no, it's America. America's doing all this stuff because we want an excuse to go to war with China or whoever. So America is faking all of these UFOs because we really want war. Well, folks, regardless of what side of the fence you fall on, do you understand that the outcome is the same? A mass military conflict with China. So regardless if you think this is China doing it or if it's America and it's a false flag psyop, it still leads us to the same conclusion. So that's why, I mean, I get the psyops. I get the false flags. Trust me. I am well versed in all of that stuff. There are so many things that I will not talk about on YouTube. I can assure you. I'm not saying I'm the smartest person in the world. I'm not saying I'm a know-it-all and I know everything. But I know a lot of stuff that I don't talk about here. And it's a lot of stuff that some of you all know about as well. So don't ever assume that just because I don't say something in my videos that I'm not knowledgeable about it. Because most likely I am. So what I'm saying here is people are like, oh, this is a psyop from America because they want war. Some people are saying this is China studying our military outpost and studying where our nuclear missiles is because they want war. So at the end of the day, it still leads to war. But things got even weirder. Because last night they closed some airspace over Montana. Now, Montana is home to various nuclear missile silos. In fact, wasn't it like last week, around the time that the Chinese spy balloon got shot down, some video came out of Montana of what looked like something falling out of the sky, something maybe, I don't know, blowing up and just falling out of the sky. I'm sure a lot of you all saw that video, but they said, oh, there's nothing to it. Don't worry about it. And we kind of never heard anything about it anymore. And that's what's going on with Montana right now. They closed down the airspace last night, and then it was just like, we haven't heard anything else about it. Supposedly, maybe they didn't find anything. But then we're getting conflicting stories because at first they were like, oh, wait. Maybe this is a mistake. Maybe something triggered our alarms, triggered our radar. Maybe there's nothing over Montana. And then the U.S. military came out and was like, hey, we're aware of a UFO flying over, but we cannot shoot it down until the daytime. I kid you not. This is why you need to be following me on Twitter. This is not an endorsement. Following me on Twitter, you'll be able to interact with me on a daily basis. I tweet over there every day, and I follow up with a lot of these news stories, flesh them out, and I break the news over there all the time. So you should be following me on Twitter. I don't care if you don't have one, make one. It's free. But anyways, the excuse from the U.S. military last night was, oh, it's nighttime. So we can't shoot down this UFO until the morning. And then we've kind of not heard anything else about it. But moments ago, at the time of this recording, by the time you watch this, there'll be 5 other UFOs probably. I want you all to understand that and get that through your mind, that I record these videos, I edit these videos, then I have to process these videos, and then I have to upload these videos. So from the time I record a video to the time that it's on YouTube, sometimes hours pass by. Sometimes I schedule videos for later in the day. So there will be more updates to the story by the time you're watching this video. But as of right now, they have just closed down airspace over Lake Michigan, citing that it is for national defense purposes. So the big question is, what in the heck is going on here, ladies and gentlemen? Something's going on. And like I said, I understand there's all types of different theories out there. I have various theories as well, but they all lead to something bad. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I think it's this, I think it's that. Regardless of what you think is happening here, the outcome is not pretty. So if the U.S. is purposely doing this, and this is a false flag, then what are they getting us ready for? What are they getting us ready for? This is far more, in my opinion, than a distraction. They're trying to distract us from stuff that we can see. I understand the distraction. I understand we're going to jingle keys over here so you don't look over here. Because there's a lot of idiots that fall for that stuff. But like I said, I mean, you have the internet. You have the power of all of the knowledge that's been collected by the world. You have that at the power of your fingertips. If you can't read about a UFO and then swipe and read about something going on in Ohio and then swipe and read about something going on here, then you're just a brain dead idiot. Let's just call it what it is. Now, there are a lot of brain dead idiots and it will work on a lot of people, but at the same time, we can't just say, oh, this is a distraction, this is a psyop, this is a distraction, this is a psyop. No, they're just getting us prepared for what's to come next. Now, if you're not familiar with Project Bluebeam, I tweeted this last night, become familiar with it today. I'm not here to say that Project Bluebeam is real. Project Bluebeam is what people consider a conspiracy. I'm not going to get into the details of what Project Bluebeam is. Once again, I'm not here to tell you that this is what's happening. I'm not here to tell you that Project Bluebeam is even real. I'm just telling you that it's something out there that you might want to read up on because it's interesting. And when it comes to these things that people label as conspiracies, I think many of you all need to reevaluate what you really think a conspiracy is. If over the last couple of years you haven't been awakened to the fact that, hey, a lot of these conspiracies are real, then you're a lost cause. All of the stuff that happened with the lockdowns and the beer bug virus, all of that stuff was talked about for years before it happened. When the lockdowns came and everyone was going crazy and everyone was surprised, I was like, yeah, I knew this was going to happen. They've talked about this in the conspiracy theories for years. Bill Gates and a lot of the other powerful people in this world all had a meeting. They all had a meeting about a crazy pandemic virus outbreak. And then a couple of months later, oh, here it is. Everything that happened over the last couple of years was foretold. All of that info was already out there if you knew where to look. Now, of course, if you talked about it, you were called a conspiracy theorist. If you said, hey, one day there's going to be, a virus and they're going to start locking down people in camps, you're a conspiracy theorist. Look at what happened over in these other countries. Look what's still happening in these other countries. If you're still that closed-minded to thinking that these things that don't sound real couldn't be real, then you are a lost cause. Look at what has happened over the last few years. It's time to stop being in denial, and it's time to start opening up your mind to the possibilities of what is going on around you. Now, like I said, I'm not saying Project Bluebeam is real. I'm not even saying that I think it's real. I'm just saying it's interesting, and it's something that I think people should look into. Because who knows what's about to happen. But something's about to happen. You don't get UFOs shot down all over America like 3 or 4 times in 1 week, and then it just goes away. And then, oh, it just all disappears. So, I mean, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to put my finger on what's happening here. I don't think, oh, it's a distraction to distract you from a news story that you could read on Twitter. I don't necessarily think that. I don't know if this is China. I don't know if this is Russia. I don't think it's Russia. I don't know if this is the U.S. In my opinion, it's either the U.S. or it's China or it's aliens. Most likely either the U.S. or China. But, I mean, if you look into UFOs, if you've ever been into like that type of stuff, then you know that various points throughout our history, they've talked about UFOs tampering with our nuclear missile sites and things like that. What if these things are coming down here because they know, like, oh, war with China is imminent. So they're coming down here to kind of do some little things. Who knows? Who knows? I'm just floating that out there as a possibility. But what I want you all to do is, I want you all to brainstorm. I want you all to think. I want you all to leave a comment below letting me know what you think is going on here. Understand, there is no right or wrong answer. We're all trying to figure out what's happening here. So I would love it for you all to let me know what you all think. Let's brainstorm together. You know, you hear my thoughts every day in these videos, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts, especially when it comes to topics like this. I love hearing your thoughts in the comment section because stories like this, these are the stories I like covering most. Sure, true crime and stuff like that is cool, but I like stories that affect everyone, that affect the entire world. You know, and I feel like getting on top and staying on top of a story like this could be super important, you know, in the grand scheme of things, wherever this is leading us. But let me know your thoughts down below. I'll be back later, hopefully, with another video. Like I said, I do not feel good today. We will see what happens. Probably by the time you see this video, there'll be UFOs getting blown out the sky. Who the heck knows what's happening next? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.